Good afternoon, good morning, maybe even for some of you, it might be good evening. Jennifer Bleam here with Michael Crean from Solutions Granted, and we are talking about the DattoCon pre-day. Michael, thanks for hopping on with me.
Hey Jennifer, how are you?
I am good. I appreciate it. I may or may not have forgotten to invite Michael to join me for this. He knew it was coming up, but it wasn't on his calendar. That's on me. And the
It
good news
happens.
is it happens and you're super flexible and I appreciate it.
I feel like you started us off with that Jim Carrey movie. What was it? Me, myself, and I. No, it was the Truman Show or something where it says good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's what I feel
Oh,
like you started us
right.
doing here right
He
now.
stepped out of his house and he always said the same thing to the people across
Yeah,
the
yeah.
street.
hmm
I
It's
love it.
too often that I can relate a moment in my life to a movie. I don't know what that says about me, but yes, I do it a lot.
That's often. I feel like we should just pause for a minute and take in the Jim Carreyness of this moment.
There it is.
All right, so Sunday afternoon, you and I get to be in the room together and chat
hmm
about cybersecurity sales.
Yeah.
So, this is your baby, your idea. Why cybersecurity sales?
It's what I hear partners are struggling with, MSPs. And not just MSPs, but it just seems to be across the industry. There's this major apprehension, and it almost even starts before you have an opportunity to be successful. It's like, well, what if they say no? Well, what if
Yes.
they say yes? I mean,
Yeah.
it's reframing that to, are you more concerned about the no as opposed to potentially getting the yes? And if it's a no, why isn't it just a good no?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't meant to be.
I love that. So I always say to my clients, and this is totally Sandler taught me this, a yes is okay. A yes or a no. Like I'm looking for an answer. A no is okay, but a yes is better. But at least we get an answer, we get clarity. And the no is really where that conversation starts. If they say no, then hopefully you can have that intelligent business owner to business
hmm
owner or C-level to C-level conversation with the prospect. So yeah,
But
I'm
do you really
hearing
think the yes is better? I mean, of course, the yes is better from a financial aspect and from a feel good moment. But which one do you learn more from? I think you learn more from the no.
I do think you learn more from the no, but the yes shows that you've created that know, like, and trust. You're the trusted advisor. You're talking to a prospect or a client who says, "Okay, you're an expert in this particular area. I'm not, so I'm going to lean on your expertise and say yes." I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I don't either. I
But
just
if you're looking for learning
yeah,
experience, then the no's are very you have to look at them as a learning experience. It's one of the challenges of being in sales, right? Like you walk into every conversation, and of course you want the sale, you want the
hmm
yes. But if you get a no, even if you have a conversation and you're not able to diffuse objections, and for whatever reason it's a no, you've got to be able to shake that off and learn from it and not have it just weigh you down, deeper and deeper and deeper until you're in the doldrums. So,
And a
yeah.
lot of times the no, I mean, there might be some cosmic force out there, however you want to identify it, that is helping you avoid some significant pain and suffering in the future because the no might have just been the individual that wore you the hell out every stinking day.
Yes. So what
And
you're
so
saying is everything happens for a reason.
I believe that.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
we don't always know why, and we
No.
shouldn't. It's part of the journey. But I think accepting it and being okay with it and learning to grow from it is a huge value to me.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
agree.
that's what I want. That's what I want people to come away from some of this.
Yes. Yeah,
Be
I
okay with the no.
Yes, because in sales, you're going to hear no a whole lot more than you're going to hear yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's in the prospecting activity, not in the actual sales call. But one thing I told you I would bring is my MSP sales process blueprint. And at the very bottom, it literally says the ask, please ask for the sale. That's one of the big challenges I'm seeing is MSPs forget to ask for the sale. And then yes is the goal. I believe it's the goal, but no is okay. But sometimes your prospects don't follow your playbook. They don't have this blueprint in front of them. And so you may get the dreaded maybe despite setting it up correctly and professionally. And then it's important to handle that maybe in a professional way and to have a
Right.
process and a plan around it. So
So Jennifer, are
um
you teasing the blueprint there? Like, what are you doing here? Because I feel like you've teased us a little bit. What's going on? Is this something that people are going to be able to come away with?
yeah,
Or
so
are
I'm
you just teasing us today?
I am going to have a handful of these, and they're impossible to fit on the screen because they're really big. But I am going to have a handful of these in person, and then I also have this as a PDF that is probably much easier for people. Just simply give me their business card and they can download or contact me. I'll be at DattoCon all week, so it is getting rave reviews, and I'm super. This is like my baby. I'm super proud of this because I've taken every sales objection I've heard and every stumbling block and every challenge with a slow pipeline. And, I get to the bottom and all my prospects just ghost me and solved, I think, every single one of those problems inside of this process. So I'm very proud of it. It's changing the way people sell and changing their close
Right.
rate. It's good stuff.
You know what else you should be really proud of?
What's that? Oh, look at
Look at
that.
that. And you want to know what I'm doing? Because I haven't told you this. I'm buying 50 copies of this book to give them away
Amazing.
during our session from 1 to 1:40 on Sunday when you and I are up there, kind of just running our mouth and hopefully
Yes.
bringing some education to the channel and MSPs, because this is a really amazing book that you've written. And there's
I
just so much fantastic information in there.
It's so interesting. I think anytime you do something monumental, at least I run into this imposter syndrome. Like, is it really going to be that good? Do I really have anything to share with the world? And literally, this was queued up in the Amazon ether for about 3 weeks because I had a specific day that I wanted to launch. I wanted to launch it on my birthday. And I had to call my editor and say, I need you to push the little slider from, is it live yet? And it said no, and it just needed to get slid to the yes. And she's like, you just need to click the slider. And I'm like, I know, but I mean, I functionally know how to do it. That is not the challenge. But there was a part of me that was like, I'm going to launch this book and people were going to say, I didn't learn anything, or that was dumb. I mean, I've had my haters, but it's been very, very much in the minority.
You know what
So,
that was? That was your moment of fear.
yes,
And that
it's
that
100%.
fear. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was David Meltzer,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
was talking about fear, and he says he spells fear interference. And if you think
Oh,
about that for a moment, when we get into these sales cycles, especially when we're doing something uncomfortable, like potentially selling cybersecurity, where you've been this amazing, fantastic, wildly successful MSP that has this ridiculous following, and you feel very comfortable at it because you've become that person.
yep.
So amazing and so great. And now you're going to challenge yourself and put yourself out there and do the next thing, which is becoming a far more security focused MSP and getting into really either building or partnering and selling that fantastic offering. But then the fear sets in. And that fear just interferes with your progress. And so
I
I
like
really
it.
like that, because obviously you can't spell interference without fear.
Yes. And
And it was,
like I've heard, like on the other side of fear is success and things like, but you have to step through that, push through that, punch through that, like whatever is needed to get over that. And I mean, I would imagine you probably have stories from being in the military of maybe one or two times that you had to push through fear to
oh,
get
for sure.
through something and get to the other side, get to,
I mean, I would like, the easiest one is like when I was going through jump school, as a child, deathly afraid of heights, like petrified afraid of heights.
so
Obviously,
you
for
like
those that,
jumped out of perfectly good airplanes? Is that
well,
what
they're not
jump
as
school is?
perfectly good as you'd like to believe, but yes, that's what I
Okay.
did. And the first time I did it, absolutely no fear, because I didn't know what I didn't know. And so I
Sure.
just did what I was trained to do. The second time, I was a hot effing mess, because I knew what was about to happen, and I thought that I was smarter than what I had been trained to do, and I was trying to overcompensate in every way that I shouldn't have done, and I totally screwed myself up. Like, didn't put my head down. My risers came up and shot my helmet off my head. The black hat is down on the drop zone screaming at me that he's going to kill me because I tried to kill him because my helmet lands somewhere next to him. So yeah, I mean, like all kinds of fear that happens during that. moment in my life, but that relates to what you and I are going to be talking about. It's not just physical fear and emotional fear. It's There's no one that's stronger than the other. They're
Yes.
both overpowering, sometimes debilitating, or you can allow the fear to be your greatest motivator and just push through.
And I think one reason we see a lot of MSPs default to talking about technical features, the machine learning or the AI or the SOC or the SIM or the SOAR or the whatever the acronym is that they come out with tomorrow. And I think a lot of times that is because they aren't comfortable with sales. Maybe even they're afraid of it.
Hmm.
And so they lean back on the thing they're the most comfortable with, which is technology, which doesn't make the sale, by the way.
It does not. Doesn't even come close. I mean,
No.
for some people, that they get all wrapped around reading Gartner and understanding the speeds and feeds, but it's such an insignificant part of the industry out there that is making their decision that way. They're using it to help inform them, but to sell that way, it's a hot mess.
All right. So anybody who's listening can probably tell that you and I are going to have no trouble filling 40 minutes on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So we're going to talk about sales. Why is it a challenge? You're going to get copies of my book. You're going to get copies of my sales process blueprint. And when is this? I'm going to give you a chance to tease this a little bit.
So what we are Sunday. I feel like I'm
Thank you.
calling
Because
us for
I
the
was
truck,
about to say
the,
that.
the tractor truck pull or the
Yes.
monster truck rally, whatever it is. So yeah, it's going to be on Sunday in Washington, D.C. at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center, where DattoCon 22 is being held this year. And we will be starting, hopefully promptly, at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
I think the only thing that's going to stop us from starting promptly is, well, I guess traffic in theory could be an issue, but probably the bigger issue is going to be this one, finding the right room. So fingers crossed. I usually try to get there about 45 minutes early just so I can find the right room. All right. So promptly at 1,
Yep.
show up to learn about how to close more cybersecurity sales, how to overcome objections, how to push through that fear. I like that. I love that you're listening to David Meltzer's podcast. He always has such good stuff. So pushing through the fear, because fear is really just interference. I think that's fantastic.
There was the one that he came out with on Friday. It's 17 minutes long. I might have listened to it 3 times that day.
Interesting.
And I just kept hearing something different and something new and something amazing. And it was just like, it felt very powerful for me. So, when I'll go out on LinkedIn and I think I'll tag it and post it out there. And if any of you want to listen to it, let me know. Does it speak to you? Does it feel like, it's something that you can apply to your life? Because it is for me, for sure.
I think that's such a good lesson, though. I think so many people who look up to the vendors, they're looking up to people like you, and they think, "Oh, Michael's arrived." Like in many ways, you have. I mean, you've got a great team, you've got a great vision, you've seen tremendous success, but you're not resting on your heels. You're pursuing a better, more mature version of yourself and bettering yourself by listening to podcasts, etc. So
Oh yeah, Michael Crean from 10 years ago was an asshole. And I'm not saying that maybe I'm still not today, but I am far less asshole moments today than I did 10 years ago.
yeah,
Way
I think
less.
we all have to mature, right? Whether it's pushing through the fear or just taking bigger steps, taking more risk, taking risks slightly more comfortably, like all of those things that MSPs are challenged by. Don't put vendors up on a pedestal. They struggle with a lot of the same things. They just happen to have more clients, partners, more
Yeah,
employees, but we don't have it all figured out either.
no way. I mean, we're just people, just like
Yep,
you
I
know,
love
and
it.
that old saying, I definitely put my pants on one leg at a time
Yes.
because I am not trying to hop up in there and fall down and crack my melon.
Crack my
Not
head.
doing it. Mm-mm.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so Sunday, DattoCon pre-day, 1 o'clock at the convention center.
Yep.
I'll be there. Michael will be there. A ton of MSPs will be there, maybe with bells on. We'll
The
see. Who
rest of the
knows?
team will be there. Let's see, Corey's
Oh,
going to be
amazing.
there. Dave's
Good.
going to be there. Brian's going to be there. So the Solutions Granted team, we're coming in force.
I love it.
And then we'll have a 20-minute break. from the end of your and my session that we can
Right.
chat, we can hang out, we can have a little bit one-on-one specific collaboration time. Then we'll be starting a second session at 2 p.m. But then Jennifer, you're staying around, and anybody. And look, let's be honest. Jennifer's the star of the show. I did this strategically. I brought in the person that I thought could help me the most, and I asked her to come along with my journey. And everybody's going to want to talk to you when it's all done, anyhow.
I love it. And I am always happy to chat at the show, after the show. And you may say you brought me along to make yourself look good, but you do just fine on your own. You've got, I don't even know how many best in show trophies from you speaking by yourself, but
One or two.
I do appreciate the invite, and I am so looking forward to it. This is going to be a blast.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. And I think the thing that more excites me than anything is this isn't a sales pitch. I'm not going to sell you a single thing. I'm not going to tell you a single price. We are really trying to give back to the community to help raise the tide and just bring some awareness and talk about the real things that we all struggle with. Sometimes, and you said it, Jennifer, it's like, as the vendor, sometimes we get looked at as like, oh, well, they've got it all together. Ugh, man, you know what? I've got the same struggles as everybody else. Some days they're bigger, some days they're smaller, but it's a journey. And if we
Yes,
do it together and we share in this together and we come together, it is so much easier as a community than it's just trying to figure it all out by myself.
I love it. Ah, so much good stuff. All right. See you on Sunday. For those of
Yes,
you
ma'am.
listening or watching it on replay, come Sunday, 1 p.m., and then stay for the 2 o'clock and the 3 o'clock. And then you'll see Michael and I hanging around for the entire show and the Solutions Granted team. So we will be there. Thank you so much, Michael, for your time. I appreciate it.
Yep. And Jennifer, there might be, I can't confirm or deny this yet, but there might be a little bourbon tasting that happens to go on during this 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock sessions. So I'm not confirming or denying that it's going to happen, but I've
But
heard
it might.
rumors. I've heard some rumors. And there's some
Interesting.
talk happening up and down the hallways of my office that somebody feels like this might be a good idea. So, who am I to deny somebody of
I
their
mean,
guilty pleasure?
it's your DattoCon pre-day session. So
Yeah.
what happens in the pre-day stays in the pre-day. Amazing. I love it. All right. I will see you then.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer. Have a great one.
Thanks, you too.
Bye bye.